Okay, well, I was waiting for maybe someone to come in, but I'm just going to go ahead and get started here. I know I've promised some people some alive. I just went by Nancy's. There's a cop there. I think he is watching like a hawk and not letting people in. That's there's no journalists or independent investigators at her house right now. Uh, the flowers are there. It's kind of weird to see it so quiet and not see anybody there. So I drove by. I'm just parked on the side of the road here. I just wanted to share my theory on what I've been working on. I just got in from Portland, took a cheap flight down here. I'm only here for 6 hours, just thought I could check on a few things. And um, we've all seen her house from the front for 2 months, so we know what that looks like. I want to go back and check elevation and check visibility and everything, because I know things change in person. And I already said that too, that things do look a little bit different in person there than when. Here's some pictures. Okay, this is my line of sight. We're just going to get right into it here. On the Nest Cam, I was exploring the background of it, and Bullhorn Betty, all the credit to her, she did put this picture up first of the SUV in the background, and I just started digging in on that. And that's my main focus, is working on that SUV in the background. So here's my Google Earth overhead of the line of sight. I am not a streamer and I don't really have a channel, so bear with me. This is not going to be pro caliber here. Nest to the road, line of sight. It goes over the bush, the little fern right there, and lands right at the car tire. Another picture overhead. These are going to be entries and exits driving off that we'll get into later. The timeline that everybody's seen. I help just to print it out so we can just kind of have it. For also people that aren't familiar with the case, it's easy just to show them. This is a real rough picture of this is a color. This is the tire right there. That's where we start, and then the headlights. So we have lots of those. Floor plan of Nancy's house. This helps to kind of get an idea of how this house is laid out, entries and exits. On the roof of the house, you can see ventilation pipes. Those will likely indicate walls, and when they run their plumbing up through the top of the roof. I'll show you that in a minute. So there's the layout. Here's the backyard. I'm not going to be focusing a whole lot on backyard stuff, just because I'm here and my theory is really focused on the front, not the back, but I did print this out just to have it as a resource. And a lot of people now are focusing in on that, talking about the flower pots and propping the doors open and stuff and using that gate over there. It's not a part of my theory, so I'm not super focused on the backyard, but it is helpful to have that involved. This is a picture of the beginning of the investigation. Part of my theory with the SUV and the driveway, which I'll show in a minute here, is when Tommaso dropped off Nancy, I want to know where she stepped out of the vehicle. Did she step out down at the bottom of the driveway, or did Tommaso actually drive into the garage? I would think an 84-year-old woman with bad health and can't walk to the mailbox on a regular basis, he would have driven into the garage. And this shows that the garage is clear, and there is a little elevation to that driveway. It's amazing when you're here and you see this house in person. You can see the elevation in the driveway and the elevation up front. It's a lot different than seeing it on camera or on stream. Another part of this, which I'm keen in on, is this hand dolly right here that people have started to talk about. That's kind of the Costco style hand cart dolly that you can switch from a push cart and convert to a dolly, back and forth, so on and so forth. The handle was replaced or placed backwards on that, and that when you look at that overhead, which we will in a second, there's a lot of flower pots, so I could see that she would have a hand truck to maneuver all her flower pots, which could be pretty heavy. The landscaping is pretty hardy here with all the big vegetation and ferns and cactus, so it's not what I'm used to. I'm from Oregon. We have kind of little things, but here you can see like big flower pots, big flowers, big ferns. So I could see how she would have a hand truck. Some people are questioning why would she have a hand truck, but it's obvious to me. It's placed right next to all her flower pots, so I think that that's obvious. She would have a hand cart. Part of the correlation is the tracks in the driveway that people are talking about, going from the steps all the way to the road, and that cart would make tracks similar to that. There's 4 wheels on the cart. The big wheels are wider than the front wheels, so that does corroborate, and that it could have been used for something based on those tracks. I'm interested in this because with my theory of the SUV in the driveway, that would be a mode of transportation to transfer from the steps to the road, would be from cart. Again, here's the line of sight from the nest to the road. We all have the picture and the video of the perp on the steps. All you have to do is download a version that works for you. Everybody's eyes are different. So for me, I just filtered it. It took about a month of constant filtering, and then I was able to get a picture that worked for me. And I'm actually going to pull that out of the folder now. So there's that. This is just another, I think it's the same picture actually. Line of sight. These were on my YouTube, so if anybody saw those, they might recognize them. The picture, I'm into a different folder here. Everybody's eyes are different. Mine, I have a list. This is everything I'm going to check while I'm here. Where's my picture at? This is a really rough picture of it. This is just a copy of the picture, but you first see the headlights, and you can see those from the steps, the porch, the nest. The perp, everybody's looking at the mask, the gloves, eyebrows, his lips, his head shape, and nobody's looking past it. If you look past it, the images will emerge with filtration and enhancement. So when I first saw the wheel, Bullhorn Betty has been talking about this too. I just started working on it, filtering it using different contrasts. Apple phone or Samsung has a lot of filters you can work with. And one thing that really helped, I was in surveillance for, not surveillance specifically, but I was working downtown Portland, and I did a lot of camera work, infrared camera work, pixelation, 4K, lots of video. So what I would do when I wanted a better image is I would take a picture with a cell phone, and it would organize the pixels. So what I started doing with the image that I saw on Bullhorn Betty was I take a picture and start working on it with the phone, because it just refined the pixelation better. So at first I thought this was a stake truck because I could see a square bed in the back and the headlights, the wheels, and I thought it was a work truck with a stake bed on the back. Well, it's not. With further enhancement, I can see a wheel well in the back of the car, and that told me this is an SUV, and that's what a lot of people were saying in the beginning also was an SUV. So the headlights up here, hood ornament in the middle, that's the shiny. So the headlights are not on there reflecting. So that Nest camera, the infrared, the IRs, they'll pick up with the night vision and reflect. And so anything that's hot will show brighter white. That's how infrared and thermal works. On the plane, I enhanced that a little bit. This is then altered, but what I did was I took a pencil and I wrote and I separated all of the lines of shadowing, just to enhance it a little bit, just to define the line. So I went back and forth from all my images. So this is what I see. I see an SUV towing a trailer, 2 mattresses in the back, and yeah, it appears there's a body on the hood. It's crazy to say, but that's what I'm picking up on this. It's really crazy to think. There's a topper on the back, or on the top, like one of those car top things it looks like. Because when you look at the pixelation that's all over here, those are trees. Like, you can't make anything out of the trees. It's just camouflage. Impossible. There's just no shape to it. You can see the fern right here. This is in direct line of sight of the Nest camera, looking straight towards the driveway. I just drove by it and it does match. So well, the sheriff just drove by. He's seen me twice now. He's probably gonna turn around. I bet you probably wondering what I'm doing here. So this is I'm just gonna wait a second and see what he's up to. So line of sight, right at that curve. I think the car came in from the left of the driveway right here, swung in like this, jackknifed the trailer a little bit. Okay, good, he's not coming back. Jackknifed the trailer, pulled in, and then turned his wheels. Because when you tow trailers, I tow trailers all the time, once a week, and you get when you're pulling a trailer, you kind of line it up to where you can back it up, because all your actions are opposite when you're backing up. So I think the trailer came in with the SUV with the trailer this way, pulled in, and then turned the tires just right, just enough to get it out of the road. The confusing part to me with the tracks from the dolly is that they go all the way to the road, and if there's a car there, and they also go down the middle of the driveway. So if the SUV was there with the trailer, there wouldn't have been a way, obviously, for the dolly to pull a body down the middle of the driveway, because the car would be there with the trailer. So it's kind of unique and interesting thing to figure out. Some people are saying the cart is from the crime lab when they were doing their investigation. I haven't confirmed or just confirmed that. So let's see, it looks like the officer went back to the house probably. He's sitting right on that corner there. So right when you come around the corner on Escalante, he's parked right there, and there's nobody there. I'm pretty sure that the neighbors have squawked a few too many times, and they are now regulating that. That's the feeling I get. I'll pull in though if I see like other streamers. I just don't want to cause any kind of trouble. I know these neighbors have dealt with a lot with traffic. There's just a few things that I need to really do at the property, and I just want to look at elevation. I want to look at kind of soil density. The tracks from the dolly were really deep in the pictures, and it would take a lot of weight, I feel, to create that. I want to look at the elevation with the garage to the driveway and see if Tommaso, it would make more sense for him to drive into the garage or for him to park out here. I just think with that space next to Nancy's car there, the blue car, he would have pulled right in, and he had 2 minutes. So that, we all know that it's on the timeline right here. 2 minutes. The door went up. 9:50. 9:48. Door went down. 9:50. 2 minutes. So is that enough time? I was going to run a test at home and just see is that kind of a average time for someone to drive a car into a garage, get out, elderly woman, walk. This garage is, and I also have the I showed a minute ago. Garage is smaller than I thought. I thought it was bigger than this. The house looks big. It just has a big look to it. It's all one level. The garage is 21 by 22. It's a little bit bigger. The average garage is 20 by 20, 400 square feet. This one is a little bit wider and a little bit deeper, but not much. So that's enough for 2 cars to be comfortable. And his SUV is on the smaller side. So I could see him driving in and dropping her off. If he didn't, that would be really suspicious of that. 84-year-old family member, I would drive her in as close as I could get her to her home and escort her into the garage door, which is right. This just splits the middle right there. Garage door would be right in the middle here. So he would have drove up the driveway, parked here, and she would get out and get in here, and then her kitchen is here. Her bedroom is back here, so her bedroom's on the opposite end of the house, which is kind of unfortunate for being immobile, having to walk. It's a 3,500 square foot house, so it's a long walk. You can see the distances here: 37 feet, just the living room, 28 feet, 12 feet. I mean, you're talking 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 feet from end to end of the house. It's just a massive floor. It's a massive footprint for a house. So, bedroom over here. I was looking on the roof right here. You can see on the roof right here, this is where you're going to get your walls from. Plumbing is going to be routed through the walls. So like if you have a wall here, it looks like this might be a bathroom window, smaller. Usually bathroom windows are smaller. If it's obscure, it would definitely be a bathroom. Usually they're like frosted out, so you can't, for privacy. So maybe bedroom, and then Nancy's bedroom's over here. And I was trying to get some lines to see exactly like how that was split. I'm guessing it's 2 bedrooms right here. I would think the master would be by the pool, but it's not. It's over here by the patio with the concrete walls around it. This picture came up a little bit short. So you can see the plumbing on the roof. That's going to be walls. And I thought with the pool back here, and maybe the pool came later and they just didn't account for it when they designed the house, but I thought you'd have some nice big windows right here, because that's, the view of the pool is pretty nice. And there's the gate right here that comes in, the door on this side. So I don't know how that's laid out, and there's a pipe right there, but I'm guessing this is the bathroom. Family room, there's your fireplace, and then you got the entry right here. So I think what the guys did, if they did come in the back and prop the doors open or whatever they did, she propped doors open too, which was documented by Savannah. So it's possible they did that, and then they came in and realized, oh, her bedroom's closer to the front, so maybe they, instead of taking her out the back through the gate. And if they did or did not have knowledge of where her room is, or if they did or did not have knowledge where the cameras were, it could change everything. Cameras, over here, and camera. So if they knew cameras are there, they would be careful of their routes. We only have the picture of the perp on the front, so it seems like they knew something about cameras, or just none of them were working. The Nest camera has a backlight on it, which a lot of people missed, wondering why he looked startled when the perp came up to the door. There was a backlight on there, and it's dark enough to where you would see that. I've done a lot of infrared work, and orientation. There was a backlight. So I think when he came up to knock to indicate to the second perp in the house that he was there to open the door, he noticed that red light, and then he went from a curled wrist like this to knock to covering the camera because he saw that backlight. If they knew they were doing research on cameras, they wouldn't have seen that in the daylight because it wouldn't be on. It wouldn't have been activated. So that's kind of my thoughts on the I don't get into a whole lot of the mask stuff or gloves or lips or eyes. It's gone nowhere in 2 months, and I don't spend time on that. My time is spent on this image that in the background. I think the break in the case will come from the background of the nest. There's just a lot more to look at. This is my enhanced image. I just shaded it in with a pencil just to kind of refine the lines. I didn't draw this freehand. I was just following kind of the shadows and where they connected and just kind of connecting the dots on it. But it's, I don't know. I see a car with a body on the hood and a trailer with 2 mattresses. That's what I see. Everybody's eyes are different. There's the unaltered image right there. So the first thing you see is those lights. I'm trying to find, here it is. I have a glossy image of that. Oh, run away. Okay, no cops. All right. Here is the original. This isn't really the original image, but this is just the image that I've been working with. See, you can see the square corners, round. Those aren't naturally in her yard. They're just not there. There's no round tire looking things. There's no decorations that look round. The reflective objects. See the difference with the trees, the pixelation on the trees? You can't make a shape out of it. But you can with all these other, because they're abstract. It's like anomalies. So you start to see the square. I encourage everybody or anybody who's interested in this theory or in this SUV theory, filter it on your own phone, because everybody's eyes are different. Because I could probably filter this in a ton of different ways, and it wouldn't be enough for everybody's vision to kind of focus in on. It's kind of like binoculars. When you focus in, some people want them a certain way, and some people want them focused a different way, and that's kind of what I dealt with. Is a lot of people, I show this image to people, and they just don't even see anything. So, but now people are starting to see. I've noticed that they're starting to see what I'm talking about. And just no streamers or no investigators are talking about this. And I've tried so hard to get in chat rooms and raise awareness of this. Bullhorn Betty probably did the best job of trying to raise awareness with this and talk about this, but even she was kind of spread thin a little bit with her attention, kind of shifting back and forth to different things. Ted Investigates was great. He responded. He was really kind about new theories and exploring new things. I was hoping he was here, but he's in like tornado country now. Nobody's at Nancy's right now. I just drove by, nobody's there. It's really weird. It's just a beautiful day. It's only 74 degrees. It's not 110. It's just like perfect. I got a car that's parked back here. I wonder what that's doing there. I probably should move the car. I'm not on the road, but anyway. They're probably used to looky-loos and people coming around, guys like me. I never wanted to come here and just sit in front of the house for 6 hours. That was never my intent or goal. I knew I had a few things I needed to confirm and look at with my own eyes. So see up here, see this trailer? Can you zoom on this? That's what we're looking at there, utility trailer. That's what I'm looking for. 5x8, 3 to 5 foot walls. And there's a billion of them, but it's something that nobody was looking at before. So he's out in the middle of the road too. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. That's what I'm focusing on. So when I see these mattresses, I think it supports a theory of, okay, now we can go down a road here, a little rabbit hole. Move-ins, move-outs, mattresses. Construction workers, they can bring mattresses too. So if they're working, you can just put a mattress in the house, throw it in your trailer, and go home. Or if you're staying for a week to do some kind of job on the house, throw a couple mattresses in there. So that helps me kind of narrow it down a little bit. Like, I'm not here going off nothing. I'm here looking for rentals, move-ins, move-outs, mattresses on the side of the road, specifically, just because of this. I'm not looking for the Walmart backpacks and all that stuff. Those days are behind us. I think we're not going to find anything with that. Let's see here. What else can I show you? I have a list of Airbnb's rentals that are in the area within like a 3 mile radius. There's like 12 of them. Then I want to go by and just see if there's a trailer. There was FBI pulled into a construction house and talked to these guys for a long time. That Ford Raptor is still parked back there behind me. And there was a trailer there, actually, a white trailer. Same thing, 5x8, some kind of landscape construction trailers. So I thought that was interesting that they spent enough time talking with the workers. I think they're so focused on SUV, on either Tommaso's SUV, which they had for 45 days. I don't think they're thinking about trailers. Like there's not going to be DNA in the car. They're not factoring in that they could have been towing a trailer, and that would just keep the body and any DNA away from the car. and then you just detach the trailer and carry on. So that's one talking point I haven't heard from any investigators, is that the possible getaway car could have had a trailer behind it. In this case, I am in pest control, and I'll tell you this. When in the summertime, Portland deals with a lot of bed bugs. City ordinance now is that if you dump a mattress, you have to have a mattress cover on it to seal the bed bugs to keep them from spreading. And a box spring is wide enough to. So what we do is we cut the cheese. It's called cheesecloth. Everybody's seen it, that black kind of meshy material in the back of a box spring. We cut that, spray inside of it, and then we seal it. So it wouldn't be any big deal for someone to slice open the back of the box spring, put a body in there, and put a mattress cover around it, and then nobody would ever know the difference. Just from my experience, that's what I really feel like that could be a part of what's going on here, because it could have gone to the landfill, or it could have just been dumped on the side of the road. The landfill would have cameras, so, and the side of the road would be more detectable. So there's pros and cons if you were the perpetrator to having this go down. Who knows what they did with that, or if they did at all, but there'd be pros and cons of both. And I'm sure that they've looked at the landfill and they've done this, but I don't know if these investigators, I know they don't have very much experience here. I think, what is it, like 90% of the investigating force in Tucson has less than 2 years experience. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I've heard that a couple times. So that's where we all come in, right? Independent investigators, journalists. We're looking into these little things that other, big companies might not. What I'm seeing also is a lot of reporting. There's a lot of people reporting, not a lot of investigating. So I've focused on investigating, focused on just like nerding out and honing in and focusing on like tiny little details of things, because those are the things that are going to, I think, help the case or break the case, not just sitting and reporting. You have to have evidence, you have to have something to report. So, sitting around and just waiting for something to happen is just, I don't know how that helps the case. It helps spread the news of the case, but I'm just focusing my energy on this. So I've been working on this for about 6 weeks, refining for about a month, really getting into it. Every once in a while, I'll just run a different filter or do something different on my phone, take a picture. Everything I have kind of supports a theory of this. In conclusion, really, I just feel like it supports a theory. Like, you have the line of sight from the house to the road. The Nest camera, the line of sight to the tire is just right of the bush. That's this bright object right here. That's the fern. There's one on each side of the stairs. So at line of sight, it goes directly to the road from the Nest camera. And we've all seen that picture of in the Nest camera. As far as backyard, I think the only part of this fits my theory is that they may have created a diversion with the flower pots in the back if they did come out back, which they did, because it sounds like the bulb was broken and the doors were open, the things were propped open. They may have created a diversion, wanting to think that she went out the back, but she went out the front. Maybe they weren't anticipating the blood, because obviously now the blood indicates that she went out the front, or it was placed there, or it was staged. There's definitely a getaway vehicle. They haven't talked about it enough. Somehow, some way, they're not walking here. It's a long. This place is sprawling out here. It's far. It's exposed. Nancy's house is a lot more transparent than you see on TV. It's more open. You can really see through the things. I wish we could just interview Tommaso in a nice way and say, hey, we're just curious about some things. Like, did you drive into the garage? Because that would be a big difference. There's an elevation difference. You can kind of see how they're standing she's standing a little bit forward, like there's a little bit of elevation kind of on her toes up here. I think if I were dropping off my mother-in-law and she couldn't walk, I would drive right into that garage. She would get out, walk into the house. And that may be. It'd be nice to have that detail. Hand truck, we're not sure about yet. Could be the crime lab cart. Here's an overhead for exits, entries into the neighborhood. I think they came in from the left. I think I shared that a minute ago of how I feel like they got in. Here it is. I feel like they came in from, sorry about, I'm in the car here. I feel like they came in from this way. Right here. Pulled the car and the trailer in, parked it, kinked the wheel a little bit so they could back out. Because when you pull a trailer, you have to kink the wheel at the end, and that straightens it. So that way you can get a straight shot back with the trailer. Parked it. Line of sight. Here's the bush right there. See that fern? I call it, from Oregon, we call it bushes, but out here I think everything's cactus or ferns. This was just a rough line I did on my Samsung phone, but this red line would go just to the right of that fern and end up right there. And that would put it right at the tire, which would be, boom, right there around. There's nothing like a tire in her yard. There's just, and there's my doctored. This is doctored. This is not original. This is me connecting, kind of shadowing and following some of the lines. So that's what I got. I'm gonna drive back by her house, I think. See if anybody's there. Just want to see some elevation and see some soil. I know, appreciate the one person that's in here. I had up to 30, and maybe I lost everybody at the SUV and the driveway theory, but just takes one person to get the right information. I don't have a platform to share this. That's why I was reaching out to some of the others. I've called the tip lines and everything, but there's so many tips. It could be years before they even get to it. I've called the local, state, like all the FBI stuff and tip lines and sheriff's office. I actually called the news stations, and they don't touch stories unless it comes from Nanos. So I appreciate people that are interested or entertaining this thought. The more the better. The more the better. Also, on the side of the car, it appears that there is some lettering or a company sign or something, maybe. Obviously, a contractor or something would have something like that. Any kind of company that would have a logo on the side of the car. It just shows, it reflects in the picture, kind of an anomaly. I noticed that a long time ago. I thought it was a stake truck. I thought this was all one vehicle at first, but then I saw that there was kinked a little bit, and there's also a wheel well in the back. So that told me it is. So I don't know if this is not an SUV and a trailer. That's one crazy looking tree. That's all I have to say. And this is interesting too. I don't know why a perp would be taking a nap. Sometimes you can siesta or take a nap, kind of chill on the hood of the car. I think that's odd. I mean, if you can trace the lines and have it look like that, I don't know what to say. Like, it's a really weird looking bush or lawn ornament. So still going to work on this a little bit. I've had people kind of refine things, and but go on Google, download an image, screenshot it, take a picture of the TV, shrink the pixelation on it, run your filters, contrast, color, brightness, sharpness. All those things will help, and then see what works for your eyes. And maybe this will help. Maybe this will get into the masses, and people can start really looking at this stuff. You know, I see all these streaming channels, and they have, you know, all these thousands of streamers, but I think people are running out of evidence to chase. So I'm going to shut this down for now. This will just be part one. I'm going to go drive back by her house and see if there's any streamers out there. I'm just going to go by slow and just see if I can get a good look at some elevation. I don't want to cause any problems with the neighbors at all. I know they've been through a lot, and I think that they're starting to crack down on a lot of the traffic. That's my thoughts. I'm going to go over some exit points and entry exit from the house over to Interstate 10, and then I'm also going to look for utility trailers. So that's what I will be doing. I'm going to sign out for now, but I will be back a few times throughout the day. Thank you, guys.